What's up, everybody, and happy Thanksgiving to all that hopefully had a wonderful, wonderful holiday and celebration. It is week something of the off season. We're about a month removed from Phoenix, I believe. Yeah, about a month. Already, the NASCAR season has been gone for a month. And you know what? Before we know it, like we say every year, it's going to be back in about in about 2 months' time. We're going to be in Bowman Gray for the Clash. And then all of a sudden, before we know it, we're going to be in Daytona for Speed Weeks, or Speed Week, as we call it now. So good morning, everybody. Good afternoon for wherever you are located. It's the makeshift Motor Stardom show here, something that we're going to try to get going, hopefully weekly, and have some fun with it. So hopefully all of you guys have had a great week. We've had still some news flowing out throughout the off season. We're going to have some great guests on today, and we're going to kick it off right away. Let's not waste any time with my great buddy here, Caleb Costner, who's wheeling somewhere. He's going somewhere. He's got an important day ahead of him. Every day is an important day when you're in the racing industry, even in the off season. Caleb, how you doing, my man? It's been a minute.
Yeah, I'm doing great. How about you, bud?
I'm good. I'm good. So you obviously, first and foremost, how has the off season been treating you? How is the weather over there? I know myself down here in Florida, I woke up to 30 degrees the other day, and it was kind of weird because we don't usually have that down there. I heard it's been snowing a little bit in North Carolina, but how's this off season, this month been treating you, my friend?
Yeah, it's been a crazy month actually. A lot's been going on in the off season as far as our team goes with everything we've got going on. So, it's been exciting, of course, as the season has wrapped up. It's already began, right back for us. So, we're prepping right now for Daytona. Cars in full prep mode. So we're excited about that. And we haven't obviously made any announcement about us actually going. We will be there, of course. Right now, let's see here. Looks like you're cut out. Is that cut out on you there a sec?
It's got in and out a little bit,
yes,
but you're with us.
Everything on our end. Got me now. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, everything else is good to go except prepping for Daytona, and yeah, it's exciting. It is cold. It is cold though, like you said. You have a snow yesterday. It was in the teens. It's back up to 47 degrees. Back in the teens tomorrow. So the weather in North Carolina has a mind of its own.
Yeah, I saw it was snowing, which is crazy. A lot of people wake up to snow. A lot of people like it, though. A lot of people said it looks cool, but until you go outside, and then it's a little freezing cold. But I'm sure by the time we get to February, that'll be all passed over. But you had an adventurous year, my man, with being a driver and an owner. Obviously, you've been doing that for a little bit now. Take me through kind of what that year's like, especially when you have to make changes for the middle of the year, because we know everything comes down to business, financials. There's so much going on with it. And then also when you're driving the race car, you got to worry about keeping it clean, where you're finishing and all that. Take me through what is your mind like, throughout those weeks and those months throughout a grueling season where you got so many jobs that you're doing?
Yeah, it would be simple to say, I wish I could just focus on racing and that'd be it, right, man? I'm telling you, that'd be the life, honestly. I think I've got 4 other businesses right now I'm trying to maintain. I've got a wife and now 2 kids I've been blessed with. So life's just been busy, and at the end of the day, family and all that comes first. And so prioritizing everything is tough. It is very tough. So, but from the start of the season, man, we announced we were going to go full time, and we had all the intentions to do so. And it's everything was signed and done. And unfortunately, it's racing's a game about money, and some money didn't show up like it was supposed to, and it made our season very, very long and dreadful at times. But we never gave up. I had a couple of different guys. As much as it pained me not to be in the car, we were able to put some stuff together, and we finished out the entire East season. And I did everything that I could to be behind the wheel. But there's other guys that have done such things like Jordan Anderson and Tommy Joe Martins and guys like that. Taking it to a whole nother level. Sam Hunt taking himself out and obviously doing it has been as successful he has on the Xfinity side. So seeing guys like that, it's encouraging to see, but at the same time, it's tough to take yourself out and do what's best in the benefit of the team. So we've done that a little bit. As far as next year, as of right now, we don't intend on running full time. We want to be able to have very great and concentrated runs when we go to the track. That's what we're focused on. We've got a purpose built this is the best car I've ever taken to Daytona this year. I mean, we've held back not at all. So I mean, I'm really excited to get down there for the test and for the race. And we've always done pretty well there. It just it is what it is. When it comes to equipment, it is tough to bring the equipment to these guys and spend the amount of money, match the money they spend to come to the track with the equipment they have. So I think that considering those factors, we're gonna take and be to the best of our ability this coming season for Daytona. So we're looking forward to it. And I mean, I'm uh, you know looking back, obviously, on the season, there's things that, of course, like anything else, right? In a hindsight's 2020, and there's things that I would, adjust or do, and that makes us better for this year, right? So, of course, I'd love to be in the car more, or the truck, or whatever it comes, but I definitely intend on racing more next year, personally, and I think that's what it's going to come down to for me is that instead of maybe trying to run the team as much all season, I would like to concentrate on races for me and get behind the wheel more. So
Yeah, for sure. And we would love to see that, my friend. We would love to see that, you behind the wheel. But when you talk about, obviously, picking the races where you guys want to maximize, when you talk about more so of a part-time schedule, that kind of allows you as a team, for other people to understand as well, to maximize these certain races, right?
yes, yes, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're going to be mainly focusing on the larger track. So pretty much mile and a half or up is what we're going to be focused on. We probably won't do much short track stuff this year. If we do anything at all, if it's a home track to me, I remember going. Um, when I was a kid with my dad and my grandpa to Rockingham Speedway, like watching
Yeah.
the Pop Secret 400, things like that, like the old Johnny Benson car. And so things
Yep.
like that kind of come to mind. So Rockingham is on the wish list of things that we would hope to do this year, but it's definitely not something that, we've got to make sure and put other priorities first and make sure that we can get to the other races that we really would like to get to and perform better. Than working on a different short track package. So that's our main priority is getting to these bigger tracks and other things like that. And the same deal. If an opportunity comes up to runs truck or Xfinity, that's kind of the same kind of races we're probably shooting for. So
Awesome. Yeah, and can't wait to see that. And I have a few pictures pulled up here. I'll pull up this one first. I don't know if you can see it, but that initial paint scheme that you guys dropped, I believe this was at the beginning of last year. I thought it was one of the coolest on the grid. Honestly, I thought it was real sporty. You got the brands on there as well. Number 93. Daytona. You talk about Daytona as a racetrack, where I believe that's where you debuted this paint scheme, right?
yeah, it is. We ran that scheme at Daytona and Talladega, and then it's kind of like the introvert to we had a scheme similar, but it was white based.
Yeah.
Our first season with a 93. So yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of a mix up. I tell you what, one thing we've always got compliments for is we've got some really good looking cars.
We do.
I've always taken a personal. You've got to look professional and always want to look your best, and you can't perform your best unless you look your best. I feel like so that's just a pet peeve of mine, and I've instilled in my guys and my team and what we've done. So we've got another scheme we're going to be coming up with here for Daytona. I won't get too crazy with it, but it may involve camo. So
Okay. Okay.
those are few and far between, but I mean, and that's kind of in the off season. What I've been mainly focusing a lot of my time is I've actually bought a hunting and fishing store here in North Carolina, and
Sure.
so we've been completely going through that, and I'm making my ways with a lot of different brands and stuff. And we're trying to figure out how we partner and bring our brands together on the track, and that's been a really cool collaboration and talks with a lot of different things. So excited to really be me, right? To be
Yeah.
Caleb, and what means a lot to me personally. And I love to hunt and fish. I love the outdoors. So really, kind of being able to work with brands that I personally, fall right in line to track. So
Yeah. No, for sure. And when we talk about the bigger tracks, Daytona, Talladega, usually throughout the ARCA season, we're not sending a bunch of people home every week. We're not having DNQs, things like that. But we know when we get to Daytona in February, we know the Cup Series has the duels. We know Xfinity qualifying is insane. Truck Series, we're usually sending trucks home. ARCA, we're sending ARCA's home cars home usually every
yeah,
year at Daytona in February. Take me through that qualifying process for you guys, because some people don't know because it's not aired on TV. You guys aren't qualifying by yourselves. You got it's
yeah,
a group of people
it's
out there qualifying. How nerve-wracking is that? Because it's like you're not relying on yourself totally. It's other people's game as well.
right, right. I mean, I guess I've always taken a little heat for just speaking my mind, but so I hold back now. I do think the process could be a lot better. It's kind of the luck of the draw. Honestly, that's what it is with who you get grouped up with in group qualifying. So I mean, and we all we're not ignorant to the fact that we know that there's cars in ARCA, even at Daytona, that are 20 mile an hour off the pace. And so, you
Yeah,
can just pretty much, you get in a group of 4, 5, 6 cars, and you might get gripped up with whoever that may be. 2 to 3 of those cars are all of a sudden they're meaningless as far as your draft ability goes to trying to make a good lap. So that can definitely take a toll on your run, and it does affect your position, right? And we all know with these ARCA cars, it is very difficult. To do a lot of passing, right? And in drafting and stuff like that, you get that air bubble, and it's very difficult. It's not a, and I think it's just the simple fact of variety of top tier cars to this equipment. So the mismatching doesn't help as far as at that level as far as the draft and things of that nature. So many different cars and so many different setups and things of that nature. So there's just a lot of different factors that kind of go into that. That doesn't help when you're racing like that. But I will say, last couple of years, the racing has been really good at these tracks in ARCA. I personally feel like, I mean, Talladega, man, it was a boring race this past year, but Daytona was exciting, right? That was a reason why. A lot of guys got the whole like, hey, this better not be Daytona 2.0, at Talladega. So things got settled down quite a bit, and there was, for the amount of budgets that people have in ARCA, a lot of stuff got tore up at Daytona last year,
yeah,
including myself, unfortunately, very early on. So I didn't really even have a chance. But it's one of those things. Again, all you can do is prep, go, be the best you can be, and hopefully your luck is that day. And I enjoyed racing during the day. I mean, night was fun too. It was tough. The time delay deal with the rain and all the weather last year was awful for everybody, all the
yeah,
series. And but looking forward to having a primetime slot on Fox, and us having an opportunity to really showcase our small team. And that's the days that the Greg Van Alst and guys like myself can have a shot, right? We have a
yeah.
shot. And to go out and not only live that dream, but to maybe capture that dream. So what a moment that would be, and that's what we're shooting for. So
That would be an incredible. I remember being there for Greg Van Alst's win, and it's just like something feels different about that type of victory, and that type of
yeah,
team organization. I was there when Jeremy Clemens won Daytona in 2021 or 2022 with in the Xfinity series back in August. I mean, that it's just different types of atmospheres when those types of organizations and drivers get to victory lane. And I'm sure the party wouldn't stop if Caleb Costner drove that car to victory lane. In our
yeah,
Instagram comment section, Checkered Flag Dan says he hopes you race Dover. So I just want to put that out there. We'll see.
awesome. Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
fun track. That was a good track
mile
for
per
us.
mile. I know that track is that's there's some tracks where it's like the ARCA series goes to and puts on a show. I feel like Dover's one of those places. You guys end up there's some good races that I've watched there, you know, in the ARCA because that's where the ARCA East
Right.
series you know, shows out as well. Those races end up being pretty fun. Obviously Daytona is good, but you got Dover, and then obviously all the short tracks you guys get to go to are a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, Dover and Bristol were two of the most fun tracks I've ever had on a short track, and we actually had both both races I've ran at those. We had very decent runs for what we have. I think finished ninth at Dover, and we got I think it was 13th not this past year but the year before at Bristol. But again, considering where we were and our equipment, the things of that nature, we really got to take those things into consideration. But yeah, so who knows? Like I said, we're working on some different things. I mean, you never know what can happen. We're still a month out from the test. We're over 2 months out from the race. There's a lot that can happen and unfold, and opportunities that can come up and change the trajectory as far as what we're looking like for 2025. But I can tell you this: we will be at Daytona, and we will be fast. And I'm hungrier than ever to I've learned a lot the last couple of years. Every single race that you run, you know, that's what you need. You need seat time, right? And it takes money to get seat time, and that's one of my biggest struggles. And I'm not afraid to say it. As far as you are better when you're racing. When you're driving that car, you are getting better. You're getting laps, and when you're not in the car, it hurts. And so, but I'm thankful that I feel like every time that I have been able to get back at another track that I've been to, and I've gotten better. There's things I work on, that to make me better and to work on those things. And so I look forward to it every time I get back in. I try to work on things differently, and hopefully we can put together a strong run and have a great day weekend.
Yeah. And then that perfectly segues in this one other point I wanted to make here. Like racers are going to race. I mean, you got a man here who is owning a team. He's racing for that team. He's got a family. He's got kids, and he's also out here. This is one thing that I think we talked about this before. I never knew that you were out there getting dirty, racing in the dirt. When I saw you post this picture out here, I think this is back in June or July or something like that.
Yeah.
I think going out there with a little wing dirt car here. Take me through this. How often are you racing dirt? Was this like the first time thing? Or have you done this before? Because I forget.
I grew up. I mean, that's my background. I grew up dirt racing. Now, not sprint cars is not my background. I grew up running four bangers, street stocks, dirt modifieds, dirt late models. All through. That's what Carolina Speedway, Cherokee Speedway, East Lincoln. Those are my home tracks up here in North Carolina that were, close to me. And those are the tracks that I cut my teeth on as far as that goes. I mean, the first time I take that back. I ran a little bit of bando and legend stuff when I was a teenager, but, very, very little, again, money. But the first time I really kind of got to racing was in a pro lates, and that was about 4 years ago. So 4 or 5 years ago. And to see how far we've come and everything. And this was an opportunity. A guy had reached out to me, and I was able to take him up on it. And we had a lot of fun that night. And I look forward to hopefully getting to do it again sometime. But again, that's one of the extra curriculars, I guess you could call it, for me. That when I have the time, if I have the time, I can go do something like that. When I'm not trying to make this deal, be at Daytona, stuff like that kind of go around, and it doesn't interfere with the family time, then I can definitely try to insert it in where I can. But definitely, ARCA and NASCAR, and moving forward in that's my where my focus is. But I definitely like to have fun when I can, and we had a fun night. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then the last thing I ask you here before we let you go is, it's been a roller coaster of a 2-3 years for you. I mean, I know we met in New Smyrna, I think 2022, when you were gearing up for that race, that ARCA East race in New Smyrna, when you guys went there on, I think it was like the Tuesday night, Wednesday night show or something like that. That was a lot of fun. I had so much fun. That was my first ever short track race personally that I was ever able to go to. I've been a big track guy going to Daytona and, Chicagoland Speedway growing up over there. But that was my first short track night, and that was a blast. I had a great time, and it was a pleasure to meet you there, and you happening to know who I was. And that's what started this whole great friendship
Sure
here.
was.
But since then, it's been such a long road for you. So cool to see where yourself as a driver and your team has grown. What if you had to pick the best thing that you feel like you've maybe learned or did in this 2-year span as you gear up for a 2025 season here as a driver and owner? What would that be? What things stick out to you?
I guess a team owner's perspective, don't spread yourself too thin. I mean, it's tough to do. I mean, you almost have no choice at times to do the things you've done. I mean, I think this year, literally, I didn't even. There was a time where I'm like, "There's no way we're gonna finish out the East season. Like, there's just no way." And whenever I wanted to give up, I just kept pushing, and we kept making things happen, and we made it. And uh, when I think the biggest thing in life, and it's not just we're talking officer racing specifically, but with other businesses that I've owned and I've done it. I think that one of the things I've always used, just I guess in life in general, is when people tell you can't do something, boy, that lights a fire under me. There's nobody ever going to tell me that I can't do something. And I think that's one of the biggest things that, through all this and seeing other individuals or other drivers or other people get opportunities, it's like you can sit there and mope about it all day long, and say that, I'm never going to be able to do that. Or you just go do it. It's
Yeah.
There's really no in between. And so that's kind of where I was. I mean, I'm 31 years old now. I'm not a spring chicken, but I'm also I'm at a point still where I feel good about where I'm at and what I can do and stuff like that. So opportunities are still happening, and I acted whenever I was at that line where I said I could just give up, and that was cool. That would be a dream. I just decided, like, let's go live it. And no, I don't get to race on Sundays. No, I'm not getting to race full time right now, and things like that. And who knows the future on any of that. But I will tell you, I know I'm blessed. I'm thankful. I'm very appreciative of the things that I've got to done. I'm getting to do. A lot of people dream it. Like I said, that was me, and so I'm very thankful for the opportunities that I've gotten. And I don't when I'm behind the wheel of that car, I don't squander that thought of thinking that I'm very blessed to be here. I'm very thankful to be sitting right here. And if this was the last, the way I've kind of approached it at times is this is the last race I get to run for whatever means, money, financials, whatever. I've already got to do more than I ever thought I'd get to. So everything from here is just a plus, So I think that's a great way to look at it, and I think that's all I can ask for.
I agree, my friend. Well, thank you so much for coming on here talking to me today. One last question: when's that ARCA test? Off the top of my head, off the top of your head,
January 9th and 10th. January 9th and 10th, the Thursday and Friday, and the weather day is on that Saturday.
All right. Well, I will be there, and if you're there, then I'm there, and I'll see you there.
Sounds great. I appreciate you having me on, RJ, and
yes.
You guys take care and appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Caleb. You have a good one.
Guys, I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you for Caleb Costin for coming on today. As he said, the ARCA test is coming up, I guess, at the very beginning of January. So I'll put that on my calendar, and we will be there right after the Daytona Charity Shootout happened on January 4th. So that'll be a lot of fun as well. And that'll kind of segue us here into our next guest on the show. My buddy here, Stephen Malozzi, who is somewhere looking very studious. Are you at the university? Are you where are you at, my friend?
Yeah, I'm at school right now. We're getting ready for finals. I'm actually about to go be a witness in a mock trial for one of my friends to wrap up one of their classes. So,
okay,
lots of stuff going on.
That's when you said trial. I figured you weren't like in court or anything, but
yeah, it's not. You got to pass the bar exam for that one, man. Not quite there yet. Not quite there yet.
Not quite, but how have you been, my friend? For the people that know you, they know you live a very adventurous life with a lot of different professions and things that you got going on when you're not. I mean, most of the people here know you for occasionally driving or working on a race truck, but you got a lot of things going on outside of that. You got school, you got Bloomin' Onions, you have a whole bunch rooting for your Philadelphia sports teams. How is that like? Managing and balancing all that, and how has your year been as we are into December now?
So it's been an interesting year to say the least. But God, in terms of the balancing stuff, I don't know if you guys can see that. I got some gray hair starting to grow out here.
It's kind of old,
It's
man.
it's a lot. It's a lot, right? You know, the law school thing is like a full time job in its own right, right? Most people, you know, would go to law school and not do anything. Meanwhile, I'm out here working it out back. Or like, I actually got my job back at Domino's, which is pretty funny, I think, because there was a whole
Yeah.
thing in Pocono about how I had gotten fired for too many speeding tickets. But now, guess what? I'm back there working again sometimes when I feel like it. Um, so like I'm doing a bunch of side gigs too, and obviously then there's the whole part time. Let's go do a NASCAR race every now and again, just a casual, nice little side quest, right? Um, so there's a lot going on. It's all about the time management, right? And that's what it's been. But right now things are really strapped because, like I said, I got 5 exams in the next 2 weeks, so things
Yeah.
are gonna hit shit's gonna hit the fan to say the least. Excuse my
Yeah.
French. Um, I don't know. It's long days and sleepless nights, my friend. But
Yeah.
otherwise, I'm doing great, right? Like we did another 3 races this year. Um, you know, I was pretty content with doing one truck race, just being like, that's good enough for me. But here we are, next season we'll probably get into the double digit mark, which is, something I'm really, really proud of because not a lot of people get to say that they've made a NASCAR start and even less get to say they've made double digit NASCAR starts.
Wow. Yeah, double digits for sure. That would be awesome for you and your career. And I'll pull up this cool little graphic that I found earlier today
Oh,
so we can
stop it.
talk about double duty that you got to do earlier this year at Pocono. Something that was literally announced like 3 days before the weekend. Like you came out here. I know you were telling me like, hey man, might have something, cooking up, we're seeing where it goes. And then all of a sudden you're running 2 races in one weekend. All that, we know how long, we know number one, how long things can take to come together in this industry, but we also know how quick things can fully come together in this industry. How did this all to come together for you? And when you got to drive away from Pocono, how were you feeling?
Yeah, so this is an utterly insane story. So nothing hurt me more than when the Monday before Pocono, I had nothing, and I even think I tweeted about it like the Monday that all this
You
happened, and
did,
I was
yeah.
like, nothing hurts more than missing your home race. We were here last year. We had a great run, a run where we actually finished 24th with some actual speed, right? Like we did some wreck avoidance, we did some racing. It was a great time. We beat our sister car and Josh Ream, and that's the one I'm really proud of. And I'm not, saying anything derogatory about Josh. Josh is my all-time favorite person. I love the guy like he's my brother. But Josh has 100 NASCAR starts, and to be racing him at a track like Pocono for our first time in what is the sister car to the car he is driving was really, really awesome. That made me feel really good about myself. And, we raced some other guys, right? We raced Spencer Boyd, who's been a full-time guy in the sport for feels like forever in the truck series.
Yeah.
We were racing with Lawless Allen, who was this most recent season's RBR full time driver, and we ended up finishing in front of all of them, and that was a really really good feeling for me to do. Then we fast forward to 2024, and we got nothing. Can't come up with anything, and it's just been an absolute grind to find any type of sponsorship, right? And we pulled something together with uh, with Ozark for Martinsville, um, and I just couldn't get anything going, right? And I have a lot of carryover sponsors, right? Like Outback doesn't do a race all the time, but they're on for some stuff, right?
Yeah.
Stacking Denny's win the race, right? They're not shelling out 35 grand to do a full time sponsorship, but they always have my back no matter what. And that's enough to usually compile all those guys together. And actually, one of the Stacking Denny's guys is actually the one who connected me with Ozark. All that's enough to compile about a race a season. So that's what we did in Martinsville. Then after that, it's just striking out left and right.
Yeah.
So the Monday before Pocono, take to Twitter. I send a sad tweet. Oh my God, I'm so sad. I'm going to cry myself to sleep now because I'm not racing Pocono. And I'm watching TV with my family, and I check my Instagram DMs. Okay, and like my phone was just down, and I check Instagram DMs, and there's a DM from Joey Gase, and I'm like, you should open that, huh? It was
Yeah.
from like 4 hours ago too, so I had been letting that thing sit for a long time. While I run outside, Joey tells me to call him. I run outside, don't say a word to my family. They're like, "Where the hell are you going?" I'm like, "Bro, gotta go." So I go hop in the car and I call Joey. While I'm on the phone with Joey, Josh texts me. He's like, "Hey, you doing anything this weekend?" And it's like, I'm like, "Oh my god, what's going on here? Like, what? This is crazy." So Joey's like, "Hey man, you want to drive Pocono?" It's like, we're gonna throw something together. And basically, what ended up happening is Great Pocono Homes. I called them, um, and I cannot emphasize it enough. How great those people are over at Great Pocono Homes. So nice, so great. On a whim, they're like, "Yes, let's do it." And it was really great to get that response from them. So they threw a lot of the money at me, but then we continue to string stuff together, and this is all Monday night going into Tuesday. This is like a 12-hour turnaround.
Yeah.
I reached out to Dawson, aka Icy Bert, as many people know him, who is an actual friend of mine. He's from the Philly area. He grew up 25 minutes from me. When he first blew up, I was like, "Hey man, let's go kart racing. Like, let's just go." And since then, we've been friends. I was at his 21st birthday party. Like, we're boys now.
Yes, sir.
I'm like, "I know what you do. I know you work for Real Sports App." I'm like, "Do you want to get me in touch with the guy?" And I ended up talking with their founder, John Antonelli, who is, again, another phenomenal dude. And on a whim was like, "F yeah, let's sponsor a NASCAR team.
Yeah.
Let's
There he
do
is.
it." Yeah, that's actually my garage. You can actually see if you look really carefully in the background, right? I'm now realizing you don't see my mouse. There's actually a fire suit hanging on the wall that is my original late model fire suit, right above that ladder and the toilet paper. So yeah, that's kind of how we got Real on, and then I made the regular calls, and I'm always very good to the guys who have supported me. Right? It doesn't matter if they can or can't throw anything on, and I'll be candid with you. Sometimes they're like, "Hey, we can't come up with anything right this minute." I'm still gonna put them on the car anyway, because I've called them so many times, and every time they can, they tell me they will give me what they can, and those are the types of people who like. And don't get me wrong, this is not degrading any of my larger sponsors. They support me the same way, but when it comes from like a family-run company, a smaller business, I mean that just means that much more, right? So we got Real on there, we got uh, Shady Rays on there, we had Campbell's Electric on there, who's a local Pennsylvania electric company, and somehow we threw enough money to get the seat for the 35 car. And Josh and I are really close, so when he needs somebody to drive a truck, I'm usually one of the first people he calls. And somehow Monday we went from crying myself to sleep, and Wednesday we went to we're doing double duty. So that was a utterly insane turnaround for me.
Yeah, that is insane. I think that was so cool the way that you had tweeted about it first. You were like, "Man, not going to be able to race this weekend," and then all of a sudden you got double duty. No matter what the results were, whatever happened, the fact that you got to do it, race against these people, be on a nice and get an NBC Sports graphic for you in the Xfinity series. There you go. I mean, that was cool to see, at least watching it from home as well. So I was glad you got that opportunity. And so, like, I mean, yeah, this brews all the way from when you had came in to run that one race at Mid Ohio, and it was like a thing where you were like, okay, maybe this will be the only start. I'll just, I at least want to run, because that's what you always told me. You were like, "I want to run race at least, and then we'll just, you see where it goes from there." But this one truck race, and all of a sudden it's branched into here, there. You getting to run at these different tracks, getting to do Martinsville. I know you enjoyed Bristol. I know you enjoyed. I've always asked you every year when I talk to you about this. I always ask you what's next on your bucket list. If there is any track that you haven't visited yet.
I think my end goal has been the same throughout the changed perspective of the career. First, it was do a race. I think now the changed perspective has been the same, which is Daytona or Talladega. Right, that's it. And I am now approved for anything that is not super speedways in trucks and Xfinity actually. So that's pretty cool. I might get some pushback on a standard mile and a half or an intermediate track, because Pocono is so big. They're more comfortable with letting people race Pocono. So I might have to do a short track in Xfinity maybe before a mile and a half. But basically, it's all clear. Like we can do anything except for super speedway. So we have to do a mile and a half somewhere along the way. But that is the goal. That is what I've always wanted to do. Night lights Talladega or not Talladega. Talladega nights, but night lights at Daytona season opener for the truck series would be unreal.
Yeah.
And, honestly, Xfinity would be even more surreal, but you don't count your chickens, right? Like you go wherever you can find a place to go. All I want to do, man, is just keep grinding at it, right? Like I'm not sure I'll ever be one of those guys who has a sponsor who funds the whole season, but every year I can do a race or two is a good year for me, man. I mean, that's just it's what I love to do, right? And as long as I've got that drive and that passion, I'll keep digging for it. So the goal, as always, has been Daytona Talladega. I have it backwards. I thought if I were going to do some type of ladder progression, it would be like, you go trucks, and then you go, you get to the top of trucks, you do a Daytona Talladega, then you go to Xfinity. Somehow we kind of got backwards there. We skipped straight from doing a mile and a half in trucks to let's just go do Pocono and Xfinity. Why the hell not? And now we're kind of like going back down. We're like, yeah, let's find somewhere to go for Daytona or Talladega. So probably not Daytona. Probably have to find a mile and a half to do in the truck series that's more traditional. Despite having done St. Louis too, so probably have to do like a Kansas. Kansas is probably the one that they're like, yes, if you do Kansas, you'll be fine. I'm not 100% on that, but that's a pretty good assessment. I feel like I don't think if you run well at Kansas and you stay out of the way and you don't cause any problems and you're not 17 seconds off the pace, they're going to let you do Daytona or Talladega too.
So I know I was about to ask too, but Gatlin on our Instagram feed, since we're on like 3 different feeds here, as figuring all this out here.
Yeah.
On our Instagram feed, Gatlin was asking if you'd ever do, or maybe have the opportunity to do the ARCA Daytona test, because I know a lot of people, that's the gateway for them, maybe doing some super speedway stuff.
Yeah. No. There's a reason for that too, which is there is almost the same expense to do ARCA or an ARCA test or an ARCA race as it is to do a truck race.
Yeah.
In what is essentially the same caliber equipment. And if anything, right, like it's an ARCA, there's 8 cars that can win any given week. That's probably it. Then there's 28 cars that just race.
Yeah.
If there's 36, right? Like they will almost certainly, maybe not at Daytona, right? But they will almost certainly finish a lap down. But they're still just as expensive to do Daytona or Talladega as it would be for me to turn to Josh and say, hey, let me go do a truck race, right? So at that point, there's just less marketability. And I'm at a point now for the first 3 races, if I needed to, I bridge the gap where I would be like, hey, I'll throw in a couple grand of my own money if I have to, just to get behind the wheel. I'm at a point where that is not in the cards anymore. We're just out here. I am mentorship up to exactly what is asked for, not $1 or less. I will do it. If I can't, I can't. So at this point, I have to go where the marketing value is the greatest, which in my mind is the argument for potentially trying to get it done in maybe Xfinity. Because I think the cost benefit of doing a Kansas and trucks, right, it's probably pretty good, right? Like you can sort of figure it out if you want to go towards one of the back marker trucks and just get in the race. It's probably a little more difficult than Xfinity.
Yeah.
For Daytona Talladega, probably the same level of competitiveness in the field, probably not that different of cost in the price of the ride, but more marketability in Xfinity, so more sellability.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's, at the end of the day, it's all a cost game, most of it. But like you just explained into detail, all the great partners that come together and help make it happen is what is able to make these opportunities flourish. And next year, hey man, if you're coming back for some races, do more races, then we're going to love to see it. And we'll love to see who's on your truck or car, for what you are able to do. I know you got a schedule ahead of yourself today. I want to ask you a few more questions. Panthers Eagles this weekend. Your Eagles are 10-2. It's been a great season. A lot of people have been hating, man. A lot of people, a lot of Eagles fans don't like Nick Sirianni. But look, team's 10-2. There's struggles for every good team. What are your thoughts? Obviously, I don't think the Panthers will do much damage this weekend. You never know, but you're approaching the playoffs. You guys are going to be in the playoffs. You're going to have a playoff game. And what are your expectations? What are you thinking? You coming out of the NFC?
Hotly contested on Nick Sirianni. I've always said, look, he makes some bad decisions, but
Yeah.
you cannot find more. You can count on one hand the amount of coaches who win as much as Sirianni has in his first 2 seasons as a head coach in the NFL. So
Yeah.
the people who are like fire him after a 2-2 start, I'm like, you guys are effing crazy. Like, there's no way you're doing that. Expectations for the Eagles. Look, you can't control what the Lions do. You should lose at most one more game this year, right? Like you should not lose to any of the teams you're playing. You've got the Giants, you've got the Cowboys, you've got the Panthers, you've got the Steelers, and you've got the Commanders.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, don't think you should lose any of those, except for maybe the Steelers, and even then, I think you should win. It's at home. So I think the Lions have a tough schedule, and I think a number one seed would be awesome. I think winning in Detroit, if you get to the NFC Championship game against Detroit, would be really, really tough to do. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. I have Super Bowl aspirations. Obviously, I think I'd be pretty disappointed if we don't make it to the Super Bowl at least. And I'd love to win one because I don't want to be the team that's 1-5 in Super Bowl history or 1-4 in Super Bowl history or whatever. A loss will drop us too. So.
Yeah, exactly. I think the Lions Eagles NFC title game would be a gritty, electric, fun game. Like, I'd have a blast watching that.
I would too. I'd be pretty stressed, but I'd have a great time doing it.
A little bit. And then I wanted to bring up, I had this in here just so everybody knows what my contact photo for Stephen Malozzi is.
Wow. Wow.
I think you had sent this to me, and then I said, okay, I'm going to make this your contact photo. And I think it's been like that ever since probably, the Bristol race is when this suit was invented. So I don't know when this picture was taken, but did I use this for then NASCAR report post?
I don't think you did.
I can't remember if I used this exact photo. Like, you sent it to me for a reason.
Yeah.
For something.
That's a good picture, man. I'll be honest.
I know there's not. It is. It really is.
I look like I could do this full time. The schnoz is a little big. Got a big nose in this photo. But other than that, that's a good picture.
I was showing somebody this yesterday at Chick-fil-A because I was explaining to him. They were like, "Who are you having on the show?" And I was like, "Oh, this guy right here. let me show you this guy. He's coming on." I like that we both have our times in the food business on the side because money doesn't come easily.
Money does not. Let me tell you, money does not come easy. I find it so funny when people are like, "Just Stephen Malozzi's just another rich kid." I'm like, dog, I'm in the MF trenches, bro. You don't even know. You don't even know when you're on hour 7 of the shift and you spill that blooming onion sauce on you. You're like, damn, this shit sucks. And then you got a table who just ordered $171 worth of Outback Steakhouse, and they give you $172 in cash and tell you to keep the change, and you're like, yep,
yeah,
this is my last straw. This is it. Yeah. So no, I agree that the food trenches is something you can trauma bond with anyone else who's in the business over. So,
and you had that tweet. You had that race where you drove all the way back after you literally raced on live television, and then clocked in for your shift. How many hours later was it? Was it 24, 48?
No, it was 7.
7. Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah.
So I left at midnight from Martinsville because it was that miserable rain-delayed race, and then it was about a 2.5, 3-hour drive. 3 with all the stops we ended up making because I was just exhausted, right? Like I needed coffee and whatever I could to get home. I get back to my apartment building. I didn't even change my clothes, man. Passed out. Like it was done. So stinky, sweaty, wet racing clothes. Fell asleep right in my bed. Now that I think about it, I don't even think I went under the covers. Like I just literally collapsed on the bed. Had an alarm set for 10 a.m. Woke up at 10, showered, changed. It was that Outback for the lunch shift at 11.
That's what you got to do. That's pretty
much.
All about,
I'm telling you, it's all about the grind.
I was reminded of your story. I was thinking about literally when I was driving back from Daytona Speed Weeks this year after the 500. It got delayed. I had to work on Monday. And 500 happens, blah, blah. No, this was Tuesday. And so I'm a day removed from seeing DJ Khaled, Pitbull, The Rock in the media center, Daytona 500. I take the 3 hours straight shoot back to Tampa. I get home for 20 minutes. I change, literally go take off my NASCAR port stuff, put on my Chick-fil-A uniform, and clocked into work. And I was like a minute late, I think. And I walked straight in, started taking orders for lunch. And I had to I took a step back and I was like, damn,
It's crazy.
Such a change of scenery. Like you don't even understand it, until
I get it. It's, I think I've said this on a number of occasions. Superman Clark Kent dynamic, man. That's what it is. It's like one day you're signing babies in the infield, right? Literally signing children. And then the next day you're like, hey, here I am at law school. What would you like to drink? Diet Coke? Nice. But it's like one is like, but it's like this, and then it's like, whoa, and then it's like back to normal for like a few months. So yeah, man. Anyways.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on. It's a good time. I'll do it again sometime. Maybe next time I'll make a big announcement on here or something when I have something for you.
Oh yeah, let me know. It's fresh. I've been talking to you about this for a while, so I'm still figuring out what time we're gonna do it every week. I'm probably gonna try a night one here soon, see what that does. And,
baby.
Either way, we'll you're gonna be back on here, and we're gonna have some fun, especially into next year. And I'll see you soon, my friend. You enjoy the rest of your day and all this stuff you got going on.
Yeah, brother. Look forward to talking to you again.
Yes, sir. Thanks for coming on, Steven. Have a good one. Shout out my boy Steven Malozzi for coming on here, taking time out of his busy schedule. As he said, a lot of people when people say they have busy schedules, there's lots of meanings that can be for that busy schedule. You could be doing this or that. You could be in law school like he is. You could be working at Outback or working at Chick-fil-A. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you could be doing and could be going on. So we will kind of wrap up here with talking about maybe some headlines here in the sport. We were supposed to have a guest possibly around 1:00, but not today. So we will cut it about an hour short. Usually this is probably going to run about 2 hours. Might be doing some at night, might be doing some during the day. We're going to have some great guests on here during the off season. We can recap kind of the things that are going on in the world right now. Andy Lally is retiring from racing officially after the Rolex 24 this year, which I hope I will be at. He'll be retiring from racing and become the president of the Trans Am Series, which our brother Thomas Annunziata just announced he was returning to. So they're going to have a pretty stacked lineup next year. We'll get Thomas here on the show here in the coming weeks. But Andy Lally becoming the president of Trans Am, I think is cool. He has such a great racing knowledge. When he was on that FS1 broadcast for the Truck Series that one year, and I think it was 2023 or 2022 at COTA, everybody just begged him to come on again. Great voice, great knowledge, amazing guy as well. So shout out to Andy Lally for his ride. Butterbean, he was possibly supposed to come on the show today, probably be on next week or sometime this offseason, but Brendan Queenie is going to ARCA. Big opportunity for him, a guy that raced for Tricon a few times this year, Cars Tour champion, and now he will be in the ARCA Series chasing another championship with Pinnacle Racing Group, an organization that was so close to winning the ARCA East title this year, should have, but collected a lot of checkered flags with Connor Zilich in that 28 car. Also had some starts with Connor Mosack, SPG at Daytona. So really cool opportunity for him to get with Chevrolet, get with Pinnacle Racing Group, and get some checkered flags, and we'll see where it lands him. One headline, this is just funny. JJ Cayley was racing at Ventura. I didn't get the video clip on here, but basically he got wrecked and he got upset. And he said this to David Gasper in an interview. As soon as he got out of I think he threw his wheel twice or threw two things at the guy's dirt car when he came by, but that was funny. And then Gio Ruggiero is going to Tricon Garage full-time, and that sets their lineup full-time for next year. So you have Tanner Gray returning for another year in the 15. We know Corey Himes returning for his third year in the number 11. And then the newcomers, we got Tony Breidinger is going to be in that 5 truck, and Gio Ruggiero, a guy that's gotten a lot of ARCA starts, got a lot of late model starts as well. He is going to be moving up in the Toyota family, going to Tricon Garage full-time in the Truck Series. So they have their 4-truck lineup set for next year. Dean Thompson was in the 5 truck. We don't know where he's going next year. Will he be staying with the Toyota family? We will see, possibly. Who knows? And then obviously we know Taylor Gray is going to Joe Gibbs Racing in the 54 car owned by Ty Gibbs. And so Colleague Racing looks like they have just named their crew chiefs for 2025. We can put that on here. Let's see. Andrew Dickinson has been named the crew chief for Colleagues number 10 with driver Ty Dillon. He's been an engineer at RCR, so we'll see how that partnership works. Obviously not very high expectations for that 10 car, but we'll see where it goes. And then Trent Owens will be reuniting with AJ Allmendinger in the Cup Series. I think that's a cool partnership as well. And obviously that's the entry that we're looking to see the most success out of, is the Colleague Racing number 16. So we will see. But thank you guys as always for tuning in. 2 great interviews on the show today, 2 great drivers, and hopefully next week we're going to have some more. I know Cesar Baccarella off Prime Racing, they're set to make an announcement here soon, as well as a lot of other teams that hopefully will be able to share it with us on here. So we'll get this more hyped up, more out there soon. Thank you guys for tuning in, as always, on all the platforms, because we're on Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, thanks a few other things. So everybody's watching everywhere. So I'm trying to figure that out. But thank you guys as always.